Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to work through another Year 12 Pure Maths question, and this is a question on binomial expansion from the AS 2018 paper. So part A of the question says find the first three terms in ascending powers of x of the binomial expansion 2 minus x over 16 all to the power of 9, giving each term in its simplest form. But just before we get into the video, I want to make you all aware about a web app that I have created. Now, this app that you see on the screen here is designed to predict the 2027 Edexcel A-level Maths topics that will come up in your 2027 exams. So now that the 2026 exams are finished, we now have access to those questions. So what I've done is I've analysed all of the questions from 2026 back to 2018, and also including the sample and the specimen Edexcel papers. And I've used that data to put together a model which will predict the topics for the 2027 exams. And if we just scroll down here, you will see how accurate this model that I'm using is. So if you do want to have access to the full predictions for the 2027 exams, and also have access to a web app which will generate mock exam papers based on these predictions, that is what you can get if you do sign up to this app. Just go to the link in the description of this video, and also you can get the link to this web app in my bio. Click that link, sign up. You can see on the top right of the page here, you can sign up to the app, and you'll be able to access all of these 2027 predictions. So remember to use the binomial expansion formula. It's basically this. So a plus b to the power of n is equal to n choose 0 multiplied by a to the power of n, and then b to the power of 0 plus n choose 1, a to the power of n minus 1, b to the power of 1 plus n choose 2, and then a to the power of n minus 2, b to the power of 2, so on and so on and so on. You hopefully get the point. If you're comfortable with the formula, hopefully you get the point, as I just said. So with this question, we got 2 minus x over 16 to the power of 9. So we're going to have here 9 choose 0 multiplied by 2 to the power of 9, and then multiplied by x over 16 to the power of 0. So remember to include the signs. So include that minus sign with this question. Then we have 9 choose 1, and then 2 to the power of 8 this time, and then minus x over 16 to the power of 1, and then 9 choose 2, and then 2 to the power of 7 minus x over 16 to the power of 2, and then we'll stop there because we're only looking for the first three terms, okay? So we don't have to go further, but I will put a plus dot dot dot, sorry, plus dot 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 there, say that again, because we have an equal sign. Okay, I've used an equal sign there. Now you could use the approximation symbol, so approximately that symbol if you want to, and you don't have to write the plus dot dot dot. But to be mathematically correct, if I put an equal sign there, I should put the plus dot 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 there because there are more terms after. Okay, if you do have a question on that, do drop a comment below, but hopefully that's fine. So 9 choose 0, that's 1. Okay, so 1 times 2 to the power of 9, and then obviously anything to the power of 0 is 1. So that first term is literally 2 to the power of 9. Then we have 9 choose 1, which if you work that out on the calculator will be 9, and then times 2 to the power of 8, and then this minus x over 16 for the next term. And then 9 choose 2, I'm just going to use my calculator to work out 9 choose 2, and 9 choose 2 would be 36. So 36 times 2 to the power of 7, and then we have minus x over 16 squared. Now, when you square a negative number, of course, that becomes positive. So this is basically going to be x squared over 16 squared. So in other words, x squared over 256, and then again, plus dot dot dot. So then 2 to the power of 9 on my calculator gives me 512. And then we have 9 times 2 to the power, 2 to the power of 8, and then divide by negative 16. So we have here a minus 144x. And then with the third term, 36 times 2 to the power of 7, divided by 256 gives me 18. So plus an 18x squared plus dot dot dot. And that there is the answer to the question. Just another quick interjection. If you are currently doing Edexcel A-level Maths and you feel that you're struggling or you're falling behind and you're not quite getting that grade that you need to get in order to get into university, or perhaps you're a parent watching this and you're worried about your child's progress, what you can do is you can head to my website. Now, my website is in my bio and also in the description of this video. Click onto the link and you can watch a brief video about me and my background. You see this video on the screen here. In this video, I outline the style and the structure of my tuition. You can also read some of my reviews and testimonials from other parents and students who have worked with me on this website too. So if you feel like one-to-one tuition is something that would benefit you in order to get the grades that you need to get, then again, just head to this website. And what you can do is you can book a free 90-minute call with me. And in that call, we'll spend some time discussing you, your situation, your ambitions, what you want to achieve, the grade you want to get, and why you feel like you're struggling and why you feel like maybe tuition is the right path for you. And we'll also spend some time basically doing a free trial lesson where I will help you out for free with any particular topics or any particular areas of the syllabus that you know you need help with. And by the end of the call, we can then discuss whether one-to-one tuition is the right path for you to get you that grade you need to get. So once again, the link to my website is in the bio and in the description of this video. Perfect. So now let's go to part B. So with part B, we now have some function here. So f of x is equal to a plus bx, and then multiplied by the previous function we had before, where a and b are constants. So given that the first two terms in ascending powers of x in the series expansion of f of x are 128 and 36x, part B, we need to find the value of a. Now, just logically speaking, it just makes sense if we rewrite this f of x using our part A answer. So let's just do this down here. So part B, we know that this function is the a plus, oops, I've miswritten that in the wrong position. Let me just rub this out quickly. A plus bx, and then multiplied by the expansion before, okay? So I'm just going to use my part A answer here. So a plus bx, and then times 512 minus 144x plus 18x squared plus dot, dot, dot. Okay, that is our function. Now we know the first term was given to us in the question, and that was 128. Okay, so the first term is 128. So when we expand the brackets, we need to get a constant term of 128. Now, if you expand the brackets in this function, how do you create a constant term? Well, there's only one way you can do that. It is a times 512. Okay, so 128 must be equal to 512 multiplied by a. So therefore, a must be 128 divided by 512, which on my calculator gives me 0.25, so a quarter. So we know that a must be 1/4. Great, so that's part B done. Now let's look at part C. Part C is to find the value of b. Okay, so what we can do if we just write part C down here. Now we know the second term. What was the second term again? It was 36x. Let's just write this down here then. So the second term is 36x. Now, with this part, we need to think about how we're going to create 36x by expanding the brackets in the function. So let's just start on this a number there. So if you do a multiplied by minus 144x, then obviously that's going to give you an x term, an x coefficient. So this 36x must be equal to a times by minus 144x. Now, there is also another combination. The other combination is if we start with the bx there and times by the constant in the next pair of brackets, okay? So plus this other combination. So bx times by 512. Now we know what a is because we worked that out in part B. So we've got 36x is equal to a quarter times minus 144x. And then plus this term at the end, 512 bx. There we go. So 36x is equal to, so minus 144 divided by a 4 gives us minus 36x. And then we have this 512 bx there. I'm just going to cancel out the x's now. We don't really need the x's here. So if we add the 36 on the right side over to the left side, 36 plus 36 is 72. and that's equal to 512b. So clearly b must be 72 over 512, and on my calculator, 72 divided by 512 is 9 over 64 simplified. So therefore b is equal to 9 over 64, and that's our answer to part C. Perfect. So if you do have any questions, do feel free to drop a comment below, but hopefully everything we've gone through there does make sense for you.